We're live. We're live. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. It's officially April the 25th, but as you know, yesterday, well, maybe some people don't know, that's okay, but there was an election in France, a national election. There was, I believe it was back in April 10th, there was the first round of elections with several political parties. You have a list of political parties, and then the final two that wins faces each other on a second round. Well, you had Emmanuel Macron from the centrist party, the Republic on the Move, versus Marine LePen from the hard right fascist party, National Rally, which used to be called the National Front. And 5 years ago, they actually faced each other, and she was defeated easily in the election in France. And last week, the polls were narrowing with 16% undecided. So it was getting kind of dicey. I figure that Macron was going to win at the end, but I was a little nervous. And I'm going to tell you, as an American, just to observe, I mean, I had no great love for a politician, like Emmanuel Macron, but I will tell you why I am glad he won. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you basically a quick synopsis of the election, and I'll comment. Give me a moment here. And as I said, I will comment very shortly thereafter. Promise. Okay. Here we go.
French President Emmanuel Macron has won a second term, defeating far-right challenger Marine Le Pen. But the margin is projected to be closer than their first face-off in 2017, when he won by more than 30 percentage points. Malcolm Brabant has our report from Paris on what led to the Macron victory and Le Pen's stronger showing.
As she arrived to vote in a nationalist stronghold in northern France, Marine Le Pen said she was feeling serene, despite being behind in the opinion polls. This is her third crack at the presidency, and she's prepared like never before. But Le Pen was dependent on a low turnout, and especially reliant on the abstention of people who couldn't bring themselves to vote for the sitting president. She's appealed to poorer working-class families with pledges to bring down the cost of living. But promises to be a disruptive influence in the European Union have alienated those who want international stability, while war is close by in Ukraine. The incumbent, Emmanuel Macron, is painting himself as an international statesman who can offer substance abroad and be all things to everyone at home. In the second round of French elections, many voters traditionally hold their noses as they cast their ballots because they have to vote tactically and not with their hearts. Reluctantly, librarian Caroline Alzieux voted for Macron.
I voted for one of them, but not out of belief or passion. I just voted to prevent civil war like the one you had during the Trump presidency.
Artist Raphael Onfray was also underwhelmed by Macron as president, but did what she believed was her civic duty.
I just voted for someone I disagree with and I don't really appreciate.
So you voted for Macron?
Well, I'm not supposed to say that, but yes.
Can I ask you how concerned you are about the prospects of a Le Pen presidency?
Well, for the first time, I'm very scared.
But not as scared as France's approximately 6 million Muslims. Le Pen has promised to ban headscarves in public places and to hold a referendum on immigration. At the North African-inspired Great Mosque in Paris, community leaders have made their disdain for Le Pen abundantly clear. How afraid are you of a Le Pen presidency?
For me, it's not a scenario I can envision. But if we imagine she is elected, it will be catastrophic.
Chemseddine Hafiz is rector of the Great Mosque and speaks on behalf of all France's Muslims.
She nourishes, she carries values that are racist and divisive.
This is Saint-Denis, one of the poorest and most diverse districts in France. Its deputy mayor, Leila Temel, is a socialist of Turkish heritage. The area is hostile to Macron, but she says he has to be elected.
It's not a vote for his policies, but it's a rallying call for democracy, for the Republic, and against the National Front.
And Malcolm joins us now from the Macron campaign election night headquarters at the foot of the Eiffel Tower. It's good to have you with us. And this campaign, as I understand it, was beset by apathy, but in the end, Macron looks to have won a clear victory that surpassed his polling numbers. How did he pull that off?
This has been a vote for the soul of France. The numbers look impressive, don't they? 58% for Macron and 42% for Le Pen. And that looks, if you looked at the pure numbers, as being a great victory, but it's not a triumph. Emmanuel Macron was here tonight talking to his supporters and also to the nation, and he recognized that the people did not vote for his program. The reason why they voted for him in such large numbers was that they just couldn't stomach the thought of Marine Le Pen and her right-wing ideas being in the Elysee Palace, which is where the president lives. And so he knows that this is a country that's divided, and he was certainly not triumphalist at all. He knows that there's an awful lot of work to do to heal this country and to try to appeal to Madame Le Pen's supporters to prove that he is a president for all of France.
So, Malcolm, what does all this mean then?
What this really means is a continuation of stability. And it's really important, actually, for NATO, because it means that there's going to be no disruption. And that's what would have happened if Le Pen had got into the Elysee Palace. It's also very bad news for the Kremlin, because he would have liked Le Pen to win, because it would have caused chaos here.
Special correspondent Malcolm Brabant for us tonight in Paris. Thanks so much.
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, righty. So there you have it. I gave you from PBS NEWS HOUR just some nuts and bolts on the election in France, its results, and as I said, it's an election. If I was in France, I would not have been particularly excited with my choices either, especially with the second round. I mean, to choose between an outright fascist and a centrist, a third-way centrist. I mean, and I've said this a few days ago when I discussed this video. If you put it in American context, this would be a scenario. It's not. This is not Donald Trump versus Joe Biden or Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. This is more like Pete Buttigieg versus Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's to that level. You have a third way person who tries to be all things to all people, and you have a flat out reactionary retrograde right-wing bigot with a politics that whether Marjorie Taylor Greene is a white nationalist or not, I personally think she is, but there's enough plausible deniability on it that she, you can have a debate, I guess. She's a homophobe, that's for damn sure. She's made anti-Semitic remarks, that's for damn sure. That, we know these things, but there's some plausible deniability if she's a flat out white nationalist. But look across the pond and look at at Marine Le Pen. Now, Marine Le Pen belongs to the National Rally, which used to be called the National Front. The National Front is a neo-Nazi organization. They did a makeover. They called themselves National Rally. And her father was Jean Le Pen, who is a famous Holocaust denier and neo-Nazi. And I mean, I said this a few days ago that Bridget Bardot is like one of the most famous celebrities that's a supporter of the National Front and National Rally. So that's what needed to be defeated. So and the thing about Emmanuel Macron, Emmanuel Macron is an advocate of the third way, of neoliberalism. He started his career out in the Socialist Party in France, which is a center-left party. It is a political party, tell you the truth, that if I lived in France, that I would associate myself with. It is a center-left, party typical of what you would define as the center-left in Europe. Social democratic, affiliated with the Socialist International, the same kind of political party that occupies the spectrum of, let's say, where the British Labour Party is in the UK, the Social Democrats in Sweden, the Social Democrats in Germany, a political party like that, of that stature. That's where I would be. And somebody would be like, oh, you mean like the Democrats here? No, not really. Christopher Hedges have said that the Democratic Party in the United States would actually be a right-wing party in Europe. Not to the level of Marine Le Pen's National Rally, but it would certainly be to the right of the movement, the Republic on the Move, which is the political party that Macron belongs to currently. Actually, it might be about the same, maybe slightly to the left of the Democratic Party. Where I would say that maybe to the left of Pete Buttigieg. I would say that he would be to the left of Pete Buttigieg slightly, and Marine Le Pen would be, probably a slightly more intelligent Marjorie Taylor Greene. End of the day, horrible choices regardless on the election. He's an advocate of the third way. He's corrupt. He's a career politician, and he's too strongly on the EU side in a way where everything is corporatized and everything is about integration of the of corporate power and trades and everything, which kind of undermines trade unions and it, for me, I'm an old-fashioned protectionist here in the United States, and I think that that sort of thing needs to kind of come back, and it's actually one of the things that's actually driven the working class away from the traditional left in the West. And they need to do that to win back the left, honestly. So, but so if Emmanuel Macron is going to be the president for all the people of France, he needs to do that. He needs to work on that. So, I would say that now with Marine Le Pen, again, we're talking about a political party. This is not hyperbole. It is a political party of racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, anti-immigration sentiment, xenophobia. I mean, you name it. It is all of that. It is all of that. It is MAGA on like triple crystal meth. I mean, honestly, it really is. So thing about it is that this is, something very dangerous was prevented in France. And so to be grateful, because what would have happened if Marine Le Pen would have been elected, it's bad enough what's going on in Europe right now with regard to the skirmish and the that's going on between Russia and Ukraine, the conflict rather, and that conflict over there is it can lead to a world war, and I'm hoping it will not. And right now, for where it stands, and this is the best case scenario we can hope for. And that best case scenario is that it will probably lead to a new Cold War instead of World War III, which World War III is going to mean probably the end of human civilization, or much of human civilization as we know it, i.e. nuclear war. Because all it takes is one or two mushroom clouds. It's going to affect the damn planet. And there's going to be billions of people dying by the end of the year if that happens. And I hope that God people realize that. And I hope that, like during the Cold War, mutually assured destruction, I hope they realize if one side fires a rocket and the other side retaliates, what it can mean. And they ultimately don't do it. So there is that. So, but anyway, that's kind of beside the subject, except that the election of Marine Le Pen would have made that scenario, frighteningly more likely. So honestly, we have to count our blessings that as imperfect as Emmanuel Macron is. And with reluctance, I am going to say that he saved democracy with his re-election. Have actually saved democracy, and so we don't need to see. We don't need to see the disintegration of world relations with each other in the international community to get to a point where, as I said, we could have another world war, and nobody's going to come out on top. It's something that we don't want and we shouldn't want. And yeah, and an election could have that kind of result, a bad result like that. So France was spared, and perhaps the rest of the world, whether we realize it or not, was spared of what could have been considered really, really bad shit happening. So anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. Apparently, when you press the like button, it helps with the algorithm. So go ahead and press like. Comment whether you like it, or even if you don't like what I say, you think I'm full of shit, comment anyway. We'll have conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel as a First Amendment absolutist. It's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and remember, until next time, we have a class struggle to wage. Yeah, there's no war like a class war. And we remember, we're all Julian Assange. Music.